We light up the world. We light up the world.
Welcome to Fire to Inspire the podcast. I'm your host, Angel Yasmin. And today's quote is, we create our own realities, whether we are conscious of it or not. Today, we have a very special guest by the name of Ana Kevelyn Reyes, who is a best-selling author for her book titled Conscious Creator, 7 Steps to Self-Mastery. Ana overflows with valuable information and inspirational wisdom, and today, we're going to focus on her book heavily and go over the 7 steps to self-mastery. Her book displays additional information that teaches you how to create the life you desire. So let's welcome Ana to the show. What's up, girl?
Hello, Angel.
What's up?
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
No, thank you. And I want to say congratulations on publishing your new book.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Y'all, I met this ball of fire in my public speaking class. And when I first met her, I fell in love with her. She is so much energy.
Likewise.
And I had so much fun with
I was
her.
like, hey, girl.
I know, right? We were like right there.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it is watching her journey from A to Z and her whole process on starting her book and getting everything together, I'm just so amazed and I'm inspired. So congratulations.
Thank you, baby.
And she's awarded best-selling author. So how hot is that? You just published this awesome book, by the way. It's a great read. It's a short read, but I like it that way because,
Right.
we're very busy people, and I was able to read this book in one day, and I felt so full.
This book started when I wanted to always, write a book, right? But I didn't know, what I was going to write about.
Yeah.
My life, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired of making all the mistakes in the world when I was 31 years old. I remember I had this conversation with my brother. My brother's really tough on me because I've always been like the smart one.
Aren't they all?
I've always been like the
My
smart one of the family. And they're like, how you so freaking smart, but you so stupid? I'm like, well, I don't know.
I think all brothers are like that.
You know?
Mine's very protective.
So I came home telling my brother one of my horrific stories that I was dealing with this guy. And I'm like, oh, he hit me. And da, 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 da. Yeah, I've been through a whole bunch of stuff. So he was like, why do you keep going through this shit with these guys? You know, it's like you just pick the wrong people and, you're always surrounding yourself by mediocre people and that's why your life is the way that it is. And, I went home.
He was smart.
Right. I went home that day and I'm like, you know what? As much as he hurt me with what he said, he's absolutely correct. So from this moment forward, I have to really evaluate what's going on in my life. Because if I keep living like this, I'm going to die. The clubbing, the drinking, the drugs, and the just fast living because I was just so unhappy with my life. I was just,
I can understand.
I started reading. I started reading a bunch of mindset books like Think and Grow Rich, How Men Think Cats, The Science of Being Great, The Science of Being Rich. And those books taught me that I was not utilizing my mind correctly. So now how do I use my mind to create happiness? That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to be happy. I didn't care what I had to do. I just wanted to be happy because I was so unhappy. So then after that, I started searching my spirit. Because for a long time, I was angry at God. I'm like, well, how come if you're this a God, how come my dad is not here? How come all these people are like this? And how come all these people are like that? Right?
I think we all have that season where we question God.
Right.
And we ask questions because we don't know the circumstance of what we are going through is actually developing us to become better.
Right.
So I know that every season when we kind of we throw tantrums and we don't get our way, we're like, God, why you didn't do this? Why you didn't do that? So I know how that feels. So I know that you came up with 7 steps to self-mastery.
Right.
So let's kind of break that down. The first one, you said to master oneself is to take extreme discipline. And I feel this is imperative to move to the next level in life. So the first step in self-mastery is thought.
Right.
And you stated in your book, well, we average between 60,000 and 80,000 thoughts per day. So if you break that down, it's like 2,500 thoughts per minute. That's a lot of thinking.
That's a lot of thinking.
And so how can one train themselves to be disciplined, to take time to develop a healthy, positive thought pattern?
So as I learned from my readings and just paying attention to myself. So what I started doing, I started paying attention to the things that I was thinking about. I will have these arguments in my head with people. I will create the most horrific events in my head. And I'm like, you know what? Pause. This is what is creating the outcome that you're seeing in your physical life. Yeah. You're having too many negative thoughts. So now let's press pause and let's see, why am I thinking the way that I'm thinking? What can I do to change it?
Yeah.
So I started creating affirmations. I learned about affirmations. So I started saying, I am happy, I am happy, I am happy. Whenever I would see myself going into a negative thought pattern, I would just start saying to myself, I am happy, I am courageous, I am good enough, I am valuable. Like I would just start saying all these I ams next to. Because as we know, two of the most powerful words in the universe, I am.
Yeah.
So whatever you state after the word I am, that's what you become. So I started training my thought process by just saying affirmations and then just paying attention really carefully at what my mind was thinking about. So I chose to think more of the things that I wanted to see in my life. I want to be happy. I started creating happy pictures. I wanted to write a book. I started thinking about being a writer and being an author.
So you became the writer.
Exactly.
Like you own that identity.
Exactly.
And that's what you have to do. When you think about your thoughts, because your thoughts can create or they can break you. And I know that sometimes it's so easy to think negative. Oh, like, I'm not good enough for this, or I'm not worth it, or I really don't deserve that lifestyle. But why not you? How can one become a creator of themselves, a master creator?
First, you have to really dig deep to understand what is it that you like, you don't like, you love, you don't love. And you have to be really honest with yourself. Like, I like this, I don't like that, I want boundaries on this, I want respect on that. You have to really figure out and go deep down onto who you really are and where all your habits, your good ones, your bad ones, where everything developed from. And once you make a checklist, okay, I like this, I don't like this, I don't like that. You keep the things that you like and you work on the things that you don't like. Because everyone has work to do. No one is perfect. Okay, all we can strive it is for excellence. Because excellence permits for those things that we call mistakes. Which I don't call them mistakes anymore. I call them just life lessons. Because when life gets tough, that's when we learn.
Absolutely. We grow. We grow from our mistakes.
Exactly. So now you start focusing on what it is that makes you who you are. And own it. Be yourself. Be who you are. Love everything that makes you. Even the things that be like, because people used to tell me like a lot of time, why are you so loud? And I used to feel bad about it. I'm like, oh, let me tone myself down. I'm like, you know what? No, I was born to be a public speaker. That's why I'm boisterous. Okay.
I am audacious.
Yes. God gave me the voice to speak. That's why I'm loud.
And
you know?
Don't use it.
And if you don't like it, then I don't know what to tell you because this is how I am and I don't want to change it.
And and I love who you are.
Thank you.
You are a ball of fire. I'll say it again. That you're not a boring person, so don't ever change that. Don't ever listen to it.
No, life is not boring. You have to keep life spicy.
Absolutely. Now we're going to go into step 2, which is faith.
Yes.
Which is my favorite, by the way, but can be the most challenging to perform, if you ask me.
Yes.
So it takes discipline to exercise faith on a daily basis. It's a constant act of God, I feel, to move mountains in your life. It seems because you have seasons in your life, you're like, okay, I'm stuck, I'm stagnant. What do I do next? Am I scared to do what I need to do? Am I scared to step out on faith? Am I scared to start that business or to write that book or to do a show or to do a podcast, whatever the case may be? So in your book, you stated that faith is described as believing in which is not yet physical. For us to exercise faith, you talk about having the extreme level of patience. How can one handle the responsibility of it?
So I have a story for that.
Okay.
I used to have this job doing direct sales in which I would go from door to door, knocking on people's door to sell energy, right, in New York. Now, New York is very hostile. I went through a lot of crazy experiences when it comes to that. And one time, I was on the bus going to my location, and the guy that I was with, he was excellent at getting these sales, right? And I was just like kind of learning the business. So I was just like in my mind, and I'm like, man, how I'm going to make this work, you know? And he just turned around to me and he said, you know what your problem is? You don't have enough faith. Oh. And I said, well, all
Wake
right
up
then.
call.
I said, well, okay, Jesus.
I know. Come on, Jesus. Come through.
I said, because that didn't come from him. I was in such a state that I felt that it did not come from him. God just used him. The universe just used him to send that message.
Yeah, he was used as a vessel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So right at that point, when I got home, I said, you know what? You have to believe. You have to believe in things that are not yet there so they can come to you. You have to believe that there's this energy that we call God. And whatever it is that you pray to, Allah, Buddha, the universe, God, Jesus, that energy is there to assist you.
Absolutely.
To get anything done that it is that you want to get done. But it's that we're so impatient. We are so impatient that we don't understand that things don't come to us at the moments that we want them because we're just not ready.
Right.
Like I've been wanting to write this book for like 3-4 years now. It just wasn't the time until now that I'm able to speak a certain way and handle the responsibility. And now I'm older, I'm more mature, and I understand fully what it is that I'm doing. So in order for people to achieve, you have to believe in the power of the Spirit. And that's where faith comes from.
Absolutely.
You have to believe that this energy is there to give you, not there to punish you, like we have been taught. You know, the energy does not punish because at the end of the day, we were given free will.
Absolutely.
To make choices. So if you don't make the right choices,
there's consequences.
There's consequences between them making the right choices.
And then we're so quick to blame God when we're the ones that messed up. I'm like, come on, girl or boy,
exactly.
Get it together. Get your life.
It's not God's fault. It's your fault because first of all, the energy speaks at all times. God talks all the time.
He doesn't force himself on you. He doesn't force you to do anything, even though he's all-knowing, he's omnipotent, but we have free will.
I'm like, you know what? Even coming over here, I'm like, you know what? You just have to go through whatever storms it is that these decisions are gonna bring, and you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Because you are supported. And that's one of my affirmations that I would say, I am supported.
Oh, yes. Come on.
I am supported.
He will definitely provide the resources that you need.
Yes.
In your circumstances.
And if you believe and you really, really believe, it never leaves you.
And you have to trust what you cannot yet see. But you need to be hopeful. So now we're going to go into step 3.
Step 3.
It is gratitude.
Yes.
So understand the power of where you are. And this is coming from her book, her amazing book. Helps you to remember how fortunate you are. You mentioned we have become restless and less satisfied in your book. We have become restless about the present and anxious about the future. When you start to appreciate where you are, your life becomes happier. By being thankful, we are creating a funnel of good energy. So I love that about your book. So explain the law of relativity.
Okay. The law of relativity states that there's always something that's worse and better than you. So to make your situation better or like acknowledge your situation that is not as bad as it is, compare it to somebody that's worse than you, because there's always worse. Okay, and something that I learned by paying attention to my process was that, I was a thankful person, but I wasn't a gratified person. When you live from a point of gratitude, it's like you just find joy and love and acceptance in everything.
Yeah, you enjoy being alive. You're so thankful for just waking up in the morning, right?
Yes. Yeah. So that's something that I started doing. I started saying thank you as soon as I opened my eyes. Thank you because I woke up the same way that I went to sleep. And what I mean, some people die in their sleep. Some people have strokes in their sleep. And they wake up in a hospital bed sick. Some people in the middle of their sleep, their house is burned down. Like catastrophic things happen. And just because I woke up that morning, just like this morning, the same way healthy, got health, my body, all my limbs work. Like, how many people in the world do not have fully functioning bodies?
Right.
And when I see people that don't even have limbs and they're still like fully functioning people, that just makes me appreciate my body so much more. Like even with all the flaws that they say that we have, which are not flaws. That's just what makes
beauty.
Us. Okay? But this world has become so
superficial
that it makes you feel like you have a flaw. No, it's just you. So I learned how to appreciate and just be thankful for my body. I don't look anything wrong with my body. I'm like, thank you legs, thank you arms, thank you knees, thank you feet,
thank you. Look, you put an S on that thing. Thank you, feet.
Thank you. Everything that works, and I'm healthy. I'm just so gratified and I'm happy that I have, my children are happy. My father is healthy. My mom is healthy. Everybody that I know is healthy.
It sends a signal to your brain to say, you know what? Even though I might not be having a good day, I am grateful to be here. Ooh.
Just be content with where you are, but always aiming and shooting for more.
Yes. So that's some good stuff. So we're going to move to step 4. And this one is the one that resonated with me the most, is emotional intelligence. I believe if we learn to control our emotions, we can control what we create in our lives. I duly believe where fire flows, energy goes. You quoted, when awareness is brought to an emotion, power is brought to your life. What is emotional intelligence?
So when you understand your emotion, we're people of emotion.
Right.
Everything that we see, everything that we do, what other people do, it triggers us, right?
Yeah.
To be angry, to be happy, to be sad, to be nonchalant, to be something.
Right.
So what I noticed again about myself was that I would be so triggery. I was always the one that was always blowing up. I was always the one that, because, my emotions are so intense. When I'm happy, I'm super happy. When I'm sad, I'm super sad. So I would notice that certain people in my life would do things, and I started noticing that they would get a kick out of having me being angry. So when I started noticing that, I was like, oh, that is his power. His power is to see me upset.
Provoke you.
So I took the power away by not being upset anymore.
Ooh.
I'm like, okay, since I know you're manipulating the situation, now I know what to do. I'm going to remove that which gives you the power over me. And I learned this in a book called Emotional by Osho, something. It'll come back to me.
Okay.
But Osho said, you're not a remote control. I mean, you're not a television, and people are not a remote control. Like, every time a person presses a button, you don't have to
react to it.
React to it. So what I learned, instead of being reactive, I learned how to be proactive.
That was one of my favorites.
And what is being proactive? Proactive means when something happens, you step back. You say, okay, let me take two. And think about what's happening. Let me think about what's happening here. How is this person doing this purposely to get a rouse out of me, to get me upset purposely? Because one thing that people love is negativity.
They do.
Okay? And when you don't give in to that negativity, they're like, oh, why are you not upset? Well, because I am in control of myself. I am in control of my emotions, not you. Even though I feel like snapping your neck in two, but I'll go to jail. Okay, nobody wants to go to jail.
We don't have time for that. We're authors.
Okay, nobody got time for jail. So I learned how to think before I act.
Yes.
Because what I used to do before was I used to just act, and then be upset at the outcomes that I will see after my actions. So I'm like, I want to get to a place in which I don't have to apologize for what I do.
Oh, I love that.
I don't want to be saying a whole bunch of I'm sorry.
I used to get so mad. One of my roommates in college, she would tell me all the time, well, don't do something you have to be sorry for. Because I would always apologize for something stupid I did. But it pissed me off even worse when she said that. Like, we all make mistakes, but we don't have to make the mistakes that we make. We really do need to be more proactive than reactive. I really love that. It's because I feel really deeply. So if you're an empath, they feel and they think very deeply.
Yes.
And these type of people have to learn how to control your emotions. And I want to say this for the women. We have to learn how to put ourselves in check. Because we can get a little crazy. You know that little Red Riding Hood comes in town?
Yes. Girl.
We need to get it right.
Type of emotion.
We need to get our lives together. The week before can be hell.
Yes, can be hell. And then, like, with me, it gets me really depressive. I go through, like, maniac states in which I'm, like, super happy, and then all of a sudden I come down, like, boom.
No, I just go off.
And I just be going off for everything.
And my husband knows it, too. He's like, okay, I know what time it is. And I'm like, yeah, get out of the way.
Yes. My partner now, he learned, like, 2 years into it. He's like, okay, now I get it. I get it now. Let me stay over there. I'm like, don't stay over there. Come here.
But let's talk about some of the things that we can help with that. Like, how can we control some of that emotion?
Meditate.
Come on.
Just go meditate. Go pray. Prayer is, I learned something. Prayer is when you talk to God. Yes. Meditation and when God speaks to you.
Oh, girl. Wow. Right. That is some
So when I learned the difference in that, I'm
Say
like,
that again. I don't think the
prayer is when you speak to God, and meditation is when God speaks to you. Learn how to be still. Whenever you are so upset, like you feel furious, because sometimes I feel rage. You're like, oh.
Yes, yes.
Relax. And I just breathe. Pay attention to your breath. If you can pay attention to anything, just pay attention to breathing in and out. And just doing that consecutively creates such relaxation. And then just start talking and ask for what you want to be helped with.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, I need help with this.
And that's when you need to affirm some things.
Yes.
I am a happy person.
I'm a happy person.
I'm a loving person.
Yes.
I'm a joyful person.
Yes.
I am a peaceful person. Because, we lose sight of those things, especially when you're going through, your You're transitioning in life. And sometimes it's not a tough time. You're just transitioning.
Mm-hmm.
You're becoming an author. You're about to, become the best renowned speaker out there. It takes pressure to do that. And sometimes
people
we
are
just
going
have
to be critical.
We have to be disciplined with our own. Because if you don't, what's going to happen? The whole point of this whole conversation, to be in control of your emotions, is to be in control of what you create. Because whatever you put out there, that's what you'll get back. I have come a long way. Thank you, God.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have changed. And I'm still working on myself.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, with me knowing how to work on myself, I'm thinking before I act.
You're being conscious.
I'm being conscious. And every time I make a mistake, I kick myself in the butt. And I say, we're not going to do that again. If we have that moment where we want to blow up again, or we want to get out of control emotionally again, and we're just acting a fool, that's what you are when you're acting that way.
Yes.
You just need to calm down and meditate. Like she said, take a breather. We have to breathe. You have to take a quiet
exercise.
So you state, when people lack emotional control, many things can seriously go wrong. And how can one be mindful of their triggers and how can we identify those triggers?
Pay attention. Just sit down and start thinking about what makes me go off. What is it that people do or the environment that makes me go off? Like when you're driving, right? Mm-hmm. And there's like a traffic.
Road rage.
Road rage. We're like, now, why are we doing all this? Like, I could just have a heart attack.
Get a glass of wine. Calm down.
Like I could just have a heart attack right now because I'm just fighting with this person over here, like in the next car. They can't even hear what you're saying.
They cannot. And guess what? What if they have a gun, guys?
Exactly.
And they shoot you
There's
dead.
A lot of crazy people.
Calm down. You want to live. Get your life. And just,
it's not that serious. There's always going to be traffic in the world. So put on your favorite song. Put on some music. And just call somebody on the phone through your Bluetooth and just ride.
Just flow.
You relate with me. I'm very nitpicky about like cleanliness and people. I
don't know. It's a process. It's a discipline.
It's a discipline because at the same time you have to allow people also to be who they are. Mm-hmm. I notice in my paying attention to myself that I'm a bit controlling. Because I like things around me to be a certain way. Mm-hmm. I feel everything has a place.
I have a type
I have everything has to be clean to me. Like I don't like to hear noise.
So you OCD?
I'm kind of OCD when it comes to cleanliness. I like things in order. Mm-hmm. I like things a certain way.
Right.
But now when you have to cohabitate with people, that's why I never really like roommates. I said the only people that I can really deal with, the person that I'm having sex with. And the person,
are we going there today?
Exactly.
Another topic.
And my children, because I can't get rid of them. And then I need this man to okay, girl. Anybody outside of that,
that's a stress reliever too. You can control some of those emotions that you're feeling.
Woo, girl.
Talking to the married people.
Yes. So just that, just how do I allow people to be who they are in the midst of me being who I am. Absolutely. And that's a lot of communication.
It is.
A lot of communication.
I was going to say, do you think people need to face some of those triggers, especially if it's family? Sometimes just going around your family can trigger you.
Because, and then I became very vocal, expressing to people what I don't like. I'm like, listen, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like this, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
And if I feel if people keep doing things that are going to make you upset, then you need to evaluate that relationship.
And you need to face it. Sometimes it's the hardest thing is to communicate it about it. It was hard for me to tell some people that I know were triggering me. That, look, I have this problem. If they don't change, I don't care if it's family, friends, whoever, cousin, Uncle Ben, they need to understand, they need to respect you. And if they don't respect how you feel, and they make fun of you or they just kind of, disregard it, then that's when you have to make a choice on whether they should be in your life or not. Absolutely.
And that's it.
So now we're going to go to step 5, which is self-care. From your book, you stated that the most powerful relationship you will ever have is a relationship with yourself.
Absolutely.
So can you go over some things that we can do to take care of ourselves on a daily basis?
Positive self-talk. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Speak to yourself nicely. Mm-hmm. Speak to yourself compassionately. Mm-hmm. Speak power words into yourself. I am beautiful. Ooh. Girl, you are the bomb. Girl, you can take over the world. Mm-hmm. Girl, you are worthy. I realized that relationship with myself was really poor when one time I looked at myself in the mirror and I saw such pain in my eyes. And I just started crying and crying and crying because I realized just how broken I was and how much I did not like being around my own self. That's why, when I used to get bored, I always wanted to be around people. My phone was always lit. My phone was always going off like, where you going? What you doing? Because when I used to get in my own space and get into my own head with my own emotions, I used to not like what I used to hear in my head. I used to not like what I used to think of myself. So, okay, let's get distracted and let's go be around other people.
Right.
So I forced myself to learn how to deal with that negative voice, and I made it a positive. And I have a story. The one day when I did my first meetup, I remember I was talking to Terrell, my partner, and I was like, babe, I had a crazy experience today. And he goes, what happened? I'm like, I feel like my old brain and my new brain were having a fight. Because the old brain was like, oh, you're not going to do well. You're not good enough, blah, blah, blah. Then my new brain was like, no, you're going to smash it. You're going to do well. You got this in the bag. Da, 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 da. And then I just rose. Like, I just got out of bed like, girl, you best to go.
You better do this. You can't do this.
Yes. And, like, when I paid attention to that, I'm like, you know what? It's because my brain has shifted.
Ooh.
I already have created a shift in my brain in which my positivity is working harder now than my negativity. And, learn how to take just time for yourself. Get away from people.
Yes.
That was part of my self-care process. I cut everybody off.
Yes.
Like, I cut everybody off. Good person, bad person, everybody had to go. Because I had to learn who Anna was without those people.
You had to put yourself first.
Yes. And I was always so caterish to people and always giving so much of myself.
People pleaser.
Yes. In a lot of relationships, I felt so dissatisfied because I wasn't getting anything back. We just say giving, and I wasn't getting anything in return. So that would make me sad. That would make me depressed. So I'm like, you know what? Pause. It's time for those relationships to come to a halt because now I got to start thinking about myself and, again, my own happiness.
And let's talk about those energy drainers. People that you surround yourself with and they just drain the heck out of you. You really need to let those type of relationships go because what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to expand in that relationship because they're constantly taking from you and then never pouring into you. So if you're in those type of relationships, you need to help yourself and get out, or either talk to that person, communicate to those people that are draining you. Because honestly, I have some people that call my phone and I look at it and I'm like, I'm looking at it twice, I'm looking at it 3 times, like I can't answer this phone because I'm putting myself first. And guys, understand that self-care does not mean that you're selfish.
And it's okay to be selfish. The thing is that people use that word like, oh, you're selfish. Like that's being selfish is bad. First of all, one of the first things that all successful and truly successful people say, people are not selfish enough with themselves.
Oh, right.
In order for you to be super successful, you have to be super selfish.
Yeah.
Because everything has to become about you.
Yeah. And what you create in the world.
Yes. And what you want your message to be and what you want the energy that you want to put out should be. So you have to become completely encapsulated.
And you have to protect your energy. Your spirit.
Yes.
Your spirit, man. Because people will come in your life to try to take from you. And the more that you keep elevating in life. If you're one of these people, because I know if you're listening, you're an entrepreneur, you're somebody, you're just a freaking rock star. Okay? So if you're one of those people that are elevating in life, guess what? It's going to happen to you where you're going to have to say no to people. And you're going to lose people in your life. They're just going to, and guess what? You're not even going to have to fall out with them. They're just going to fall off.
Right.
God will take them completely out of your life so you can live your life the way you need to and create the life that you have. Because some people will just suck the life out of you.
Right, because something that I learned also is that when you become full of light, right, and you start becoming like this light being and this light, you attract all type of things.
All types of spirits will come in.
All type of bugs, all type of vampires, all type of everything because you look so luminous. You look so attractive. So now they want to and you're like.
They want a piece of that. Yeah, they do.
Like,
They do. They want a piece of what you have. And some of those people, you don't know their motives and you'll feel it. That's when you have to ask God for discernment.
Discernment.
That is where it needs to kick in. So now that's going to go into Step 6, which is relationships. And you have to have the ultimate discernment when it comes to relationships. So it is better to be alone, and we're talking about that now, than to be in bad company. So how can we identify healthy and unhealthy relationships in our lives? We're talking about that right now. That's the first question. How do we do that? How can we, because some people really don't know that they're in an unhealthy relationship,
right?
And they're staying in it for years and they don't understand why they are stuck on stupid.
Right. So I learned a statistic that it is said that 85% of your success depends on the relationships in your life. So I put that into perspective.
Yeah.
With all the people that I was dealing at that time, I'm like, okay, so how me dealing with this person is making me a better person. How are they filling me up? How are they making me a happier me, right? And when I noticed that there was no gratification from that, I'm like, that relationship has to go. And I didn't even question it. I didn't question it twice, because if you've been part of my life for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and this is how I feel at this moment, then that means there's nothing to question. You got to go, and that's it. All right? So then I started understanding what relationships were important to me. The relationship with my parents was important to me, because those are my life sources. So I started working on the relationship with my mother. I started working on the relationship with my father, because I never had one with him. You know, something that I learned, that we as children, sometimes it takes us to take the first step
and to be the bigger
to heal the relationship, because they're so scared. You know, older people are so much scared. We have a lot more courage than they do. So, you know, I said, look, Dad, I know you didn't do a good job, blah, 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 blah. I still love you. Let's do this. Okay?
I love that.
Because
that's so good.
I'm an only child. You know, he only had me. And I know eventually you're going to get old. And I know you feel remorseful because you're looking for me. You know, you want to build a relationship. It's cool. Let's just let it all go. Right. And let's start from here. You know, people, you know, what I learned is that they did the best that they could at that time. You know, I'm not going to keep holding it over his head, because I'm a grown woman now with my own children, and I learned how to heal myself and keep moving from that process. You know, so now I have a great relationship with my parents. You know, and then I learned also I identify friends. Right? I often say, like, oh, I don't have no friends. I do have friends. But I learned what it was, the meaning of a friendship. The people that I call my friends right now are the people that they keep me so full. Oh. So full. And it's a give and take. It is. It's a give and take. It's not. You know, I fill them up and they fill me up. I fill them up and they fill me up. We have these wonderful conversations about creativity and learning and becoming and just enjoying. It's a joyful and conversation.
Celebrating each other.
Yes.
And, you know, it's hard because, you know, when you actually step out on faith and you really want to do your own thing, that's when you feel lonely. That's when the people start showing their asses.
It's a lonely process.
It's a lonely, and it is. But it doesn't have to be, because you can pray that prayer and you can ask God to send people to you that really mean well. And they really want to celebrate you. They want to see you doing your very best, because guess what? Those type of people are doing their very best. They're in that light with you. They're not in the dark. So they're kind of equal to you. You guys are you're sharpening each other's iron.
And something that I learned, like a good friend of mine told me, you're never by yourself. You're with yourself.
Oh, come on.
And when I understood that, I'm like, so I never said, oh, I'm by myself. No, I'm with myself. And I'm okay being with myself. Right. Because you're never alone. You have God with you. First of all, we are little gods. We're extensions of God. So how can you be alone?
Yes.
We have just become so conditioned to have somebody around us all the time. Right. And again, coming from that place in which you're just unhappy with the person that you are. So when you make that peace, and when you find that joy and that happiness and that gratitude, you're fine being in your own space.
You are. And that's when you can actually invite other people in your life, whether you're dating, because sometimes we jump from one relationship to the other and we're not even healed yet. Exactly. So take your time to learn yourself, learn your identity, and find the things that are wrong with you. Because guess what? Something may be wrong with you. We always blame everybody else.
Of course.
Look in the mirror, and sometimes you're standing too close to me. Step back from the mirror and take a look at the big picture and say, God, okay, examine me. Examine my heart. Help me find out what I need to do to change my life.
Right. So now when you fix the relationship with self, right? And you start becoming all these positive things, now you're going to start attracting those kind of people also. Yes. So now, like you said, take a look at yourself. Yeah. Because you're walking around with all this junk. When you de-junk yourself out of all the negativity, all of the gossip, all of the bad self-talk, all of these negative things that you attracted, all those negative people, right? And now you fill yourself up with the positive things. By law, it's universal law. You're going to attract more of those things that you have become. Absolutely. And that's how you now start building healthy relationships. I wanted the relationships in my life to be healthy.
I love it. So, the passage that stuck with me and made me think hard was, when you stop growing, you start dying. Yeah. So always remember that it's okay to grow and learn and be around people that are better than you.
And become and change.
Yes, be around people that have more than you. Don't be jealous. Stop being Look, women, I'm going to talk to my women right now. Stop being jelly beans. Get on the team. Stop being jealous. That envious spirit has to go in your life or you can't ever get anywhere. No. That's why it's hard for me to find girlfriends, because I've always found them to be jealous, or they doing this, or they copycatters, or they just, just hateful and mean. I want you to start celebrating other people. I'm going to tell you what God is going to do for your life. He is going to open up so many doors because you're celebrating. Maybe in their season, they're winning, but you don't know what they went through in the past. Right. They're losing.
How they lost.
What they lost to get where they are today. But learn from it. Get in that circle.
And now, those feelings, negative feelings are normal. Like when you feel jealousy, when you feel envy. Normal. But the thing is,
envy is not normal.
You have to pay attention to it and be like, whoa, now let me shift. Let me shift that emotion right there. Because the minute you start hating on somebody else, the minute you start hating on somebody else, that stifles your own growth. Ooh, that stifles your own blessings. That stops
everything that God has coming for you. It stops it.
And now you start gravitating all these negative things, and you don't know why all these negative things keep happening in your life because you're a freaking hater.
Right. Jealousy is just, to me, that's like a normal state. Like, you should be looking up to somebody and be like, oh my God, they got it going on. I wouldn't mind having something like that. But think about envy. Envy is when you are looking at someone and they have something more than you. They're living in a circumstance that you would love to have, and you try to stop them. You try to sabotage what they have.
I don't know. I don't know.
Honey,
I don't know how to be like that.
I done ran into some people that will literally try to stop and block you from what you have. But guess what? You can't stop what God has for people.
What the universe has for you, honey, can no man
Nobody
stop.
Can take it away.
Yeah, and I've seen a couple of public speakers that say, when you help someone else reach their goals, that helps you reach your goal.
Yeah. Look at Gail. Look at Gail and Oprah. Yeah. They got it going on. Yes. Learn from them. So now we get to talk about our very last step, which is step 7. And we are a 3-part being: mind, body, and spirit. How can one focus to take care of their mental health, heal their spirit, and be good to their body? Okay,
so what I learned is that all those 3 aspects of our existence have to be aligned in order for us to start winning.
Absolutely.
Right? So how did I heal my mind? I started reading books. I started listening to audio, like those motivational speeches on YouTube. Good. Everything is free.
That works.
So now I retrained my mind through reading and through listening. Because again, listening to what you listen to also impacts the way that your mind is going to work. And now, how did I heal my spirit? I started praying more. I started meditating more. I started spending a lot of time in nature. Because when you understand nature is at peace, and nature knows it all. Like right now is really the beginning of the year. It's the new year. It's springtime.
Yeah.
A lot of things have been done through the times that everything gets thrown off, but the new year that we celebrate is not the new year. When you pay attention to nature, this is the beginning. All the flowers start blooming, all the trees start becoming colorful, and all of that. So, and learn however it is that you're going to connect with that higher energy. Trust it. Have patience. And be good to yourself. And every time you find yourself in a place in which you feel kind of stuck or you're not moving nowhere, again, talk to that energy. Yes. And allow that energy to talk to you also. And listen. The problem that we have as humans is that we don't listen. We don't listen to spirit. And spirit is always talking. Always, all the time.
There's
all the time,
always
all the time.
signs and wonders that we miss.
But we don't listen. It's like children with parents. The reason why children get into trouble is because they don't listen to their parents.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I tell my daughter all the time, I gotta listen to somebody. When I need direction, I call my mom, I call my dad. But most of the time, I'm listening to spirit. And I take the guidance from spirit. Mm-hmm. So you have to listen to me as your parent. Or you're going to have to learn how to pray and meditate and go listen to spirit. Yeah. But you're going to have to listen to somebody. We all are adults. We have to follow laws. We have to follow directions. We have to follow all these different things. Right. So you're not exempt because I'm not exempt because I'm an adult. It's just that you're a child. So I'm giving you life experience. That's something that you don't have. Right. And now with the body, I started paying attention to my body because I will have like a lot of like issues with my skin or like going to the bathroom and stuff like that. So I started playing around with food. Yeah. And then I learned this whole vegan thing, right? Yeah. So I'm like, okay, what is that about?
Are you vegan or vegetarian?
Well, now I consider myself like a pescatarian.
Okay.
Because I started eating seafood. But for 3 years, I really eradicated everything. Or my mom would say, oh, you're going to die. I'm like, Mom, I'm not going to die from not eating. She's like, Mija. How is it that you don't eat? Yeah. You don't eat chicken. You don't eat beef. You don't eat nothing. I know. That's my mom. No. She just goes right and beans. She goes. I'm like, Mom, stop being annoying. I'm not gonna die. I'm like,
this is the first thing they think you're gonna die.
Yeah. I'm like,
no, you're gonna die eating that pork.
Yeah, I'm like, Mom, you're such a hick. You're such a hick.
I'm just kidding. You're not gonna die.
No, but that pork kills.
Calm down.
Okay, I'm like,
calm down.
I'm not gonna die. You just need to go make that rice and beans that I love. Okay, with some salad,
and that's it.
And I'm gonna be good.
And we good.
Because what I noticed was also when I would eat, I wouldn't really eat the meat like that. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't really that difficult for me to stop eating it. And then 1 year or two, I forget what was the year that we had. I went and I meditated and I asked God, okay, what will take me to the next level spiritually? Mm-hmm. And I heard my message that said, stop eating meat. Ooh. And I said, okay,
it's something with that meat. Now.
I said next day.
It's some evil in some meat.
Because you have to think about the animal suffering.
Yeah.
When the animal gets butchered or whatever happens, how they kill the animal. That's why the people like the Jewish eat kosher food. Yeah. And the only thing is that the way that they kill the animal suffers less. That's the thing. Because all that suffering and all that energy.
That poor lamb.
Yeah, it gets stuck into the animal's flesh. But it wasn't only that for me. It was just like really with me. I was just like constipated. I'm like,
no, it'll make you gassy.
I'm like,
let's tell the truth.
I gotta find something that's gonna make me go regularly.
That dairy and I just can't let go of my mac and cheese. Lord Jesus, I'm praying right now that the spirit of cheese gets off of me.
Me too,
because
girl.
It is so not good for my body.
That's why I never really call myself a vegan because I would still eat cheese.
I'm vegetarian. That's why I can't let it go. Listen, I cannot. I eat my dairy products.
I said, listen, I gave up everything else. I'm having my cheese. I don't care what nobody says.
Eat my mac and cheese every Thanksgiving.
I'm having my cheese.
Yes. So we're working on that. But you do have to be conscious of the things that you eat.
Yeah.
Because what happens if you eat a lot of this and that and processed foods or just fried foods? I mean, even if you're eating meat, just be a little bit smart about things that you do. Don't do the fried food because whatever makes you feel heavy makes you lazy. Let's just get to the point.
Right. So that's what I noticed too. When I changed my diet and I started eating more fruits and vegetables, my thinking became clearer. My body became lighter. Yes, like you start thinking better. And I noticed that now I've been getting a lot of starch, I've been getting a lot of bread, and I'm like,
that's comfort food.
And it makes me feel sluggish.
Yeah, it does.
When I eat like that.
But I don't know. Sometimes it makes me feel good when I eat
I just love it.
My carbs.
It's a Spanish.
But just do better. Maintain a healthy balance. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, and understand that when your mind needs to function clearly. Your spirit has to be aligned. So now your body can walk in a certain way that you want it to walk. Because if you're not thinking clearly and then you don't know how to connect with that source, you're not going to be able to move how you want to move. And then you want to be blaming everybody else but yourself because you're not making the right choices.
This leads to our last question. What ignites the fire within you to do what you love today? So give us some encouraging words as you leave today.
I want to help the world. I really want people to understand that you don't have to be wealthy. You don't have to come from wealth to live a happy life. You don't have to come from wealth to know how to think. You don't have to come from wealth to become wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to know how to do is know how to think, be persistent, be consistent, have faith, and learn how to develop habits that are going to make you a better person. Because the person that I am right now is what got me to this point. Now, for me to get myself to the next level, I'm going to have to go through more changes and more changes. Every time you reach a new level, it's because you've changed. You transform in some type of way. And something that I learned is like it's about like 5% of people in the world that go through real transformational change in their life. You know, so I just want people to create, because everybody changes. Whether they realize it or not, everybody changes, whether it's for the good or the bad. But I want people to really create transformational change in their life, in which they take their life from, like I said, if you see where I come from in DR, it's the slums. It's the complete, like, ghetto, poor, people that really don't have. And something that hit me when I started this process was, girl, your mom did not come over here and brought you all this way so you can be basic.
Oh, come on.
All right? So before my mama dies, she's going to I want to give her the pleasure of seeing one of her children become exceptional and excellent. You know, because she deserves that. She went through a lot, you know, to having me and all the process and just coming over here. In this country, as much trash as people talk about this country, I would rather live here 200 times than live back in Dominican Republic, sweetheart. Okay, because this is the land of opportunity. There's a lot of things that we have here that we don't have back in Dominican Republic. Okay, I love my country. It's beautiful, the sun, the sand, and everything. But I want to be here because this is where opportunity is for you to grow, for you to become, and for you to have, what is it, the American dream, the house with the white picket fence?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to do for the world. I want to teach people that you can become anything that it is that you want to become. Because not even in a million years, I thought that I was going to be on a podcast, that I was going to write a book before.
Best-selling book at that.
That I was
Really
going to be aiming to becoming a top public speaker, you know, and I see it. I'm going that direction because that's where I'm training myself to go.
Right.
And if I did it, if I'm doing it, not having no notion of what to do before, anybody can do it.
Amen.
As long as you just got to be focused, man, and you got to be disciplined, and you have to know, I got this from Reverend Ike, you have to know who you want to be, what you want to do, and what do you want to have, you know? So figure that out within yourself, create a plan, and work through all your adversities, work through all your challenges, because everything that you go through is put there to grow you and to mold you into the person that you are supposed to become.
Well said. Ana Kevelyn Reyes, you guys. I mean, this has been an awesome book that we went through, 7 Steps to Self-Mastery. You guys go get this book. Ana, tell us where we can find The Conscious Creator, 7 Steps.
So you can find it on Amazon. You do a search, how to become a conscious creator, and it'll pop up.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I had so much fun today. These are one of my favorite subjects because I know it has changed my life.
Yes.
Once I was enlightened to it, because we have to reach beyond the walls of religion and just really know how to have that relationship with the divine, and that is our God. Amen, church.
Amen.
Yes. Hello. So thank you everyone for joining this party with a purpose. All right, I'll catch you next week. Make sure you subscribe and review. All right, it's getting real hot up in here because we are so fired up.
Yes, fire to inspire, baby.
When they strike, we light up.